Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, all that sweet stuff, guys. Also, don't forget to put your notifications on as well. Very, very important, guys. Now, look, over the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of noises about the takeover situation, etc., etc. Billionaires have been talking. Billionaires have been talking. Not least a gentleman that we have heard of before. He has spoke about Man United before. You may remember him from the takeover process last year, of course. His name is, let me get this right. His name is Thomas Ziliacius. I mean, I might be getting that wrong, but Thomas Ziliacius. Easy for you to say. He's been speaking in regards to Manchester United and the takeover, guys. Again, this guy is very outspoken. He has been outspoken before in regards to Manchester United. He said, I think the Glazers, unfortunately, are a good example of somebody who is not really looking out for the club, but rather using it as a cash cow. Oh, well, we heard that before. But in any case, they are not doing what should be done. I have a program that involves the fans who are overseas, who cannot come to watch the game. And my program can evolve in a way that can bring significant revenue to the club. So with that money, the club could do all the things it needs to do to be the truly best football club in the world, where all the best players, the best managers, everyone wants to be there. So that is Thomas Ziliacius. Thomas Ziliacus. And look, guys, very nice words, sweet words, very enticing words. I like that, to be honest. I do like what he's saying here. But you know, at the end of the day, all that matters here is whether the Glazers sell and how much of the Glazers is going to sell for and how much can you put on the table. Initially, you can have all the promises in the world. You can have everything, all the niceties, all the you know, enthusiasm and overly zealous kind of promises that can be, you know, in a dream world, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But you got to put the money on the table initially. So how much are the Glazers going to want? Now, this morning I spoke about briefly as to why the Glazers will sell. And one of the reasons that the Glazers would sell would be a problem with the regeneration project. That is their bread and butter at the moment. That is what is going to give them a lot of money in the future. That's going to give them, you know, quite a significant amount of billions, guys, in the future with that generational project. So if this generational project does hit a snag, it can decide what the Glazers do next, because the Glazers are only interested in money. As this gentleman says, Thomas, I'm going to call him Tom. He does say that the Glazers don't care about the football club, and it's pretty obvious. We know they don't care about the football club. That's why they wouldn't let Old Trafford decay, etc., etc., etc. But there's, you know, at the moment when we're looking at things, anyone who wants to purchase this club fully, clear the debt, that is all that matters at the moment. That is what matters to Manchester United. But obviously, you can talk a good game. I can talk like that. I can talk about my aspirations for Man United. But it's whether you're going to put down the money, the Skrilla. You're going to put down the money, and you know what? You're going to entice the Glazers and try and remove the Glazers from the helm. Which, you know, at the moment, you know, the way things are after 20 years of the Glazers' ownership, you just feel like, you know, it's never going to happen. And everyone, I understand it. It's a bit of PTSD. It's a bit of pessimism, you know, with the fan base, that they can't really envision the Glazers leaving. But over this last 24 hours, there has been a lot of positive noises around the sale of Manchester United. Number one of them was UAE. United Arab Emirates are looking to purchase Manchester United. You know, whether that's Abu Dhabi, whether that's Dubai, guys, whether it's Sharjah, who knows? But Abu Dhabi are looking to invest money into Manchester United like they've invested money into Manchester City. But it all remains to be seen. But one thing's for certain, a lot of the same people that were talking over the takeover process with Jim Ratcliffe and Qatar are the same people talking now. There's no smoke without fire. I've said this at the beginning. There's no smoke without fire. You never know what can happen, guys. You never know. Guys, all we can say is that's news, isn't it? It's news. It's noises around the takeover. It's noises around Man United. It's noises around the Glazers selling. It's better than having no noise at all and just waiting for their big payday in regards to the regeneration project, of course. So, you know, the regeneration project, look, you know, I have a feeling something's going on. I'm not going to confirm anything. I don't want to be taken in a sinister way. But I would say that I have a feeling that something might be going on behind the scenes, you know, in regards to the takeover process. And we're going to have to wait and see, of course, guys, what happens. But that was Thomas Ziliakis, who is the Finnish billionaire. He is a Finnish billionaire, and he's the same guy who spoke last year. There was a time last year when he was taken pretty seriously. I don't know if you guys remember that there was a time when he was taken seriously, guys. You know what I mean? And before the takeover of Jim Ratcliffe, well, not takeover, but partial percentage ownership of Jim Ratcliffe, you know? And we were talking about this same gentleman. I don't know if you remember. There was a lot of noises around Man United, but it's pretty evident that this guy wants to buy Manchester United. It's pretty evident that he has plans and aspirations for Manchester United, but so do many, many other people. All that matters is that you put the money on the table that is going to attract the Glazers. And if you can put the money on the table, maybe, just maybe, the Glazers may sell. How much would the Glazers sell? Now, initially, Manchester United were put up for sale for about 10 billion from the Glazers' valuation. 10 billion. But the reason it was 10 billion is because of this regeneration project. It's because they're in line to make a lot of money with this regeneration project, you know, which is going to last generations, which is why they wrote a letter to the Manchester Council way back when, 2017, in regards to acquiring that land. Now, it has come across little bit of trouble, a little bits of difficulties have come in regards to this regeneration project, i.e. the land being bought by other entities and stuff like that. There's going to be competition. This is not a foregone conclusion. Also, rumors are coming out that it may be rejected. The whole project may be rejected by the Manchester government, by the government in general. So we're going to have to wait and see. But the regeneration project is key. It is key. If this goes ahead, I cannot see the Glazers setting up. If it doesn't go ahead, I can see them going. I can see them sending up to whoever it is going to put the money on the table. Now, what I don't want a bidding war. I don't want a bidding war for Manchester United. I mean, I want just to sell the football club. How much for the football club? That's how much the football club is. Now, there's lots of conflicting stories about the valuation of Man United at the moment. Some people are saying 5 billion, and that is a realistic amount that Manchester United are valued at. As we know, Qatar bid 4.2 billion, wasn't it, before? But obviously weren't taking into account the regeneration project, etc., etc. And also with that 4.2 billion, I'm not sure whether the debt was included in that 4.2 billion or it was separate, but it was rejected anyway. Let me just say hello to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, you legends. Hope you're good. Big up, Alex. How you doing, my friend? No bids are gone in yet, and nothing is official yet. And this is one thing I will clarify. Nothing has gone in yet. Nothing is set in stone. Lots of noises, lots of hearsay at the moment. So we're just going to have to wait and see and sit tightly and wait and see what happens. Big up, Danny B. What's going on, you legend? Hope you're doing well. We're good to see you. We need and want a full sale only. Look, there was someone on the stream who spoke earlier, and he did make me think about something. If apparently the stipulation in the contract is that if the Glazers decide to sell, Ineos have to sell. I mean, I don't know how that works. So if the Glazers sell, Ineos have to sell, which means that they sell the whole club. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. But I cannot see how any billionaire coming into Man United would want to have a partial ownership. They would want 100% of the football club, wouldn't they? Guys, they wouldn't want anyone like the Glazers, like Ineos or them lot there, deciding footballing matters and things like that. You know, they wouldn't want that, would they? You know, they would want to do things their own way. Look, that's business, that's life, isn't it? You know, if someone comes into this football club and purchases it fully, then that is it, isn't it? That is over for Ineos. That is over for their little vanity project, of course. And it's very important to remember that they are only 27% owners of Manchester United. They are not the owners of Manchester United. And I think a lot of people get misconstrued and forget who owns this football club at the end of the day. It is still those guys, those Glazers over there. It is them who still own the club. Glazers gone would be very happy. It would be amazing. Absolutely, Danny B. I hope you're doing well. Ephraim, good afternoon, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're true, but I will come until it comes to fruition. You can't get giddy, you can't get overly zealous because we've been here before, haven't we? And with the Qatar takeover, I mean, I remember in the Qatar takeover, there were so many people talking to me on the phone or wherever it was, telling me it's been done, it's been agreed. Qatar are going to buy the football club. Even Rio Ferdinand came out and said, tomorrow you're going to hear some news, bruv. You know what I mean? All these things, you remember. And obviously, we're proven wrong. This is why I don't take anything he says, very true, to be honest. I take everything he says with a big, huge dose of pinch of salt, I would say, and there was lots of noises and we got excited and we were happy and, but obviously Jim Ratcliffe came along. He unplugged the life support machine for Manchester United and he put it into the Glazers' life support machine. And he sacrificed his own, the football club for a project that is quite obvious, is confused, is all over the place, without any direct plan. I mean, sometimes you look at Ineos and you're thinking, look, you know what they've done? They've done incredibly well, and they got a plan. Then the other times you look at them and go, what are they doing? Now we're hearing noises about Harry Kane. Well, then what happens with Sesko? You know what I mean? And it's just so much. It's so up in the air. It's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? It's so confusing what they're doing at the moment, and they've done a lot of bad things. They've done some good things. I'm not going to completely throw it out there. The regeneration of the Carrington was fantastic, of course it is, but that was already something that was agreed before the takeover process, and that was part of the deal that would entice the Glazers to sell to 27%. So we'll have to wait and see. Danny B, debt-free would also be the it would be absolutely amazing, Danny. You know what I would say is that a debt-free Man United would be scary for the rest. It would be very scary. At the moment, Man United are still, profitable, are still able to go out there and spend money in the transfer market, not as much as we wish we could. And this is not going to last forever, because you look at Liverpool, you look at City, look at Chelsea, look at Arsenal. They're spending more than us now. They're spending more than us. They're already ahead of us, and they're spending more than us. So what's going to happen with Man United? Naturally, Man United are going to decline, isn't it? So Man United needs a full sale and debt cleared. Once the debt is cleared at Man United will blow every one of those teams there out the water. It'd be completely over. Man United will have endless funds again, like we had before the Glazers took charge of this football club. We had endless pockets. We had a great chance, to buy anyone we wanted to when the Glazers weren't here. We just decided not to do that. Dabizaz, what's going on, my friend? Are we doing well? Good to see you. If Ronaldo and friends buy United, then it will be very beneficial for the club and the fans. I mean, look, yes, I'm going to get into the Ronaldo situation. Obviously, Ronaldo's still playing football. So let's remember that. Ronaldo's still playing in Saudi Arabia, of course. But Ronaldo's waiting to score 1,000 goals. So once he's scored his 1,000 goals, don't be surprised if Ronaldo retires from football. And that is what I'm saying at the moment. So I'm not quite sure how many he's got now. Is it 900 and something goals? 939? Let me just see how many goals Ronaldo has got at the moment. Let me see. How many goals does Ronaldo have? So 940. I see, almost got it right there. 940. I said 939. 940 goals Ronaldo has. He's 60 away from 1,000 goals. That's his career tally, guys. So once he gets to 1,000, I do believe that Ronaldo will quit football. And there is rumors, and he did say it before. He has said it a couple of times that he wants to own a football club. He wants to buy a football club. Someone's actually asked him, would you be interested in buying Manchester United? Now, look, imagine a collaboration between the Middle East and Cristiano Ronaldo with Manchester United. It ticks every box, doesn't it? Professionally, business-wise, everything will be ticked off the box, and that would be incredible. Cristiano Ronaldo back at Man United for the third time, in a business capacity, and working with those players, overseeing the structure of the football club. Because Ronaldo obviously spoke about Carrington way before Carrington was even thought about being regenerated. He was him. It was Ronaldo who went on an interview and said that, everything is old fashioned. Everything's still the same since the last time he was there. And I think that sparked a change in the Glazers. They thought that's embarrassing. And obviously one of the first things that they wanted was to rebuild Carrington. But that is not all what needed to be rebuilt. We've got the main thing, isn't it? Old Trafford, which is absolutely decayed. And I cannot see how everyone is just accepting of this new stadium that we're apparently moving into, this regeneration project that we're apparently doing. I can't really see how anyone's just so blasé about it and just brushing it off like it's nothing. I really can't. You know what I mean? Big up, Bobby. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're good. Good to see you. Sal, even if Ineos buy the full club, I do not trust them. Look, at the end of the day, what have Ineos given us to trust them? And this is what we have to say, guys. This is something I want to bring into the show. What have Ineos done for us to be so trusting of Ineos? Why? Why do people trust him so much? There's a theory for me in regards to some of the people who trusted Ineos at the beginning, who were Ineos in, who didn't want, virtual signaling, oil money and all that stuff like that, human rights and all these liars out there who were talking about that, some of the most self-centered people in the world talking about human rights. It was very ironic, by the way. To be honest with you, they won't change their mind because they've already sacrificed themselves in regards to Ineos, and their ego's too big for them to turn around and say, nah, you know what? Ineos done wrong. I was wrong. And that's what it is. So they will never do that. I had someone come up to me on the stream, my Twitter page, and say, Sal, are you going to apologize for being wrong about Jim Ratcliffe? I almost spat my coffee out. I'm like, what the hell is this guy on about? Is he absolutely off his mind? Me apologize about Jim Ratcliffe, who facilitated the Glazers, went to bed with the enemy. Those people who say those sort of things are the enemy of the football club. Absolutely. They're the enemy of the football club. I think it's them who should be going out right now, apologizing to the fans that were pro-Qatar, pro-Full Sal, I should say, pro-Full Sal, debt cleared, because at the end of the day, we will be in a far better position right now if they took charge of the football club, wouldn't we? Let's be honest, guys. We would be in a far better position right now. We certainly wouldn't be in any debt, Big up, Kenny. What's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. The only hope is that their regenerating project is failed. Yeah, this is a big thing, Kenny. Massive thing. And I spoke about it weeks and weeks ago. I said the only way that they're gonna sell to a potential buyer is if their big plan, the big regeneration project, goes to the S. The S basically, the she. That's what it is. It goes to the in the mud. That is the only way I can see their regeneration project completely failing. And that's what I would say. And I hope it does. I really do. I hope Lord Coe and those guys who organized the 2012 Olympics, I hope that they reject it. I really do. Big up, Rishwa. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're blessed. Hey, big up, Tybo. What's going on? I hope you're feeling good, my friend. I hope you're good. I was listening to some stock exchange experts recently who said that the New York Stock Exchange will collapse in 6 months' time. This could, if true, also be one of the reasons that the Glazers to cash in. Great comment, Tybo. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I would say that there has been a lot of analogies, a lot of theories that would back up the narrative that the Glazers are going to sell and the Glazers want to sell. That could be one of them. It could be right now. We need to cash out. We need to cash out now. We need to sell this football club whilst we still can. It could be that. It could be. Now, obviously, the stock exchange is very important. Nothing has been announced on the stock exchange yet, of course. And when something big happens, it does get announced on the stock exchange. And of course, the share prices go up or etc. So nothing has been done officially. And we would know if something's being done because obviously the share prices and stuff like that in the stock exchange, it gets announced, of course. But you know what? There's something in the air, Tybo. There's something in the air. What's going on? Something is going on, which has triggered this random story that they're going to sell the football club. And I can't see how Turki Al-Sheikh, not Sheikh, it's Al-Sheikh. He's got two Al's, but it's not Sheikh. Shake it. Yeah, shake it. Yeah, look, guys. So it is Turki Al-Sheikh, who is the Saudi Arabian prince, who is responsible for the boxing in the Middle East. He's connected to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is the son of Barry Hearn, who used to own Leyton Orient, who was the guy who used to own the club, and he used to be a nightmare, guys. And Eddie Hearn knows Turki Al-Sheikh, and Turki Al-Sheikh is obviously well connected, a multi-billionaire. He's the chairman of the entertainment in Saudi Arabia. So basically, when you're thinking about the boxing, you're thinking about WrestleMania, you're thinking about all these kind of things. More times than not, 99.9%, it goes through Turki Al-Sheikh. And that's what it is, guys. So, what I would say is that there is no smoke without fire. This is what I'm getting to. There is no smoke without fire. If someone with 7.1 million followers on Twitter, one of the most important people in the Middle East, right, comes out and says something like this, I can only say that there's no smoke without fire. And not only that, to come out and clarify what he said, to talk that Man United are for sale. Look, he's not going to buy the club. I don't think Saudi are going to buy the club. I don't think they're going to buy the club. This is what I think. I think he knows that the Glazers want to sell the football club. I think he knows that the Glazers want to sell the football club. And I don't think he would come out and say these things You know, if there wasn't an element of truth, guys, I would say. Big up, my friend. How you doing, Lawrence? How you doing? Afternoon, Sal. So, journalist on TUS today said that Barada squeezed every last penny out of the transfer budget this summer. Look, the budget for Manchester United is a lot higher than we think it is. I said it before, before Man United spent any money this summer, I said that Man United got more money than you think they have. Look, you know, the budget for Man United is not necessarily how much money we have. You know, it's how much money they're willing to spend. You know, and this is the problem, isn't it? We all know that the Glazers don't want to. The Glazers, Ineos don't want to spend money. Of course, we know that. We know that they have their budget and it was squeezed and stuff like that. But we got rid of a lot of players, more players than we brought in this summer, guys. And you know, we saved a lot of money as well. And obviously, we were going to buy Baleba. We did have the money there for Baleba. So where's the Baleba money gone? You know, where's that money gone? If we were going to go out there and buy Baleba, where's that gone? You know, I know you're talking about Richard Dawson. I think it is. I think that's the guy you're talking about. So look, you know, I don't believe that it's all doom and gloom, because you know what Ineos do? They'll come out and buy a player, and you think, where did they get that money from? When they were making cutbacks, I told people when they were making the cutbacks and sacrificing people's jobs, etc., like that, I said that this is a manipulation tactic to give the illusion that they got no money. And I felt this, do you know what I mean? But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Ephraim, Basal, both the owners do not want to spend from the pocket. They were like, I mean, none of them want to spend from the pocket. Absolutely don't. They don't want to spend from the pocket. They want to spend Man United's profits. That's what they want to do. Now, it is a godsend for Man United to sell this football club, regardless what happens with Ineos, how much money they got, how much they're willing to spend, how much their budget is. We need a full sale debt cleared, because that is what's going to be beneficial for Manchester United. No matter who comes in and buys this football club, whether it is the Finnish billionaire, whether it is the Saudis, whether it is the United Arab Emirates, whoever comes into this football club, you know, would improve this football club immensely, especially if we clear the debt. Even if we just cleared the debt. You know, it would help significantly with our PSR and FFP, etc. Because we're burdened by this. We're burdened by this, and we've been burdened by this for a very long time. Big up, RJ. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Good to see you. So, but look, guys, there's going to be a lot of rumors spreading around. There's going to be a lot of noises spreading around about what Man United are going to do. Are Man United going to sell the football club? And here we go again. No, I mean, every single day is a new adventure. Every single day is a new story for Manchester United, isn't it? It's a new drama. It's chaos at Man United, guys. It is chaos FC. Man United are chaos. Man United are just so all over the place at the moment. When you think about Manchester United, you just think about a complete mess. I mentioned obviously about the derelict building the other day. I mentioned about Man United are like a derelict building. When you go in there, there's asbestos everywhere. There's junk all over the floor. It's got huge potential, but there's a lot of work that needs doing to it. And that is exactly how I feel about Manchester United. I feel that like that at the moment about them. And I reiterate that stance, of course. LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers were sold for a record-breaking valuation of $10 billion. Yep. Man United should be worth that. To me, it's not even a question that something happening. These things don't come out of the nowhere. Absolutely. The only question is it a full sale, just an investment? Absolutely, Tyborg. And this is what we will say. And we can't discount anything, isn't it? We can't say that this is not going to happen. The Glazers not going to sell. Or we can't say they're going to buy the club. They're going to sell 100%. We can't say that. We've been here before, haven't we? It could be an investment into the stadium. It could be that. It could be naming rights for the stadium. It could just be a partial ownership. It could be 20% from the Glazers. Something like that. Guys, we can't have too many chefs, you know, in the kitchen, guys. And we need one entity, one business billionaire to own the football club. That's what we need. That would be ideal with no debt. You know, but we can't discount anything. There's no smoke without fire. I look at that billionaire, what he said on his tweet. Why on earth would he say something like that on Twitter? And why on earth would he reiterate his stance and say it again this morning, something of a similar line? Why would he do that? You know, I don't understand how that works, you know? I really don't. I think the Glazers want to break that record. I think they do. I think they're looking at the Los Angeles, LA Lakers, and they're thinking about Manchester United. And what they're doing is they're comparing other big sporting franchises to Manchester United, which is wrong. It is wrong, to be honest with you. I think Man United are worth 10 billion. I think that. I mean, obviously, officially, Man United are worth about 4. right? But obviously the Glazers want more than double that, double and a half of that is madness. Lawrence, sending around another 25% of short is not going to cover the cost of new stadium, but maybe they have a plan, the state plan for state aid. No, look, a lot of people were talking about state aid. A lot of people talk about government money, tax money, going into the regeneration project. I cannot see right now how these guys can claim to be broke and be spending billions on a regeneration project. I just can't see that. I don't see how that happens. And the biggest thing for me is that I don't trust Ineos, and that is how I feel. Right? They have not given me anything to trust them. I've seen a lot of lies already. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they told us, right? Well, at the end of the day, we're going to walk to the right decision rather than run into the wrong decision. That's what Jim Ratcliffe said, didn't he? Now, before you're fixing the football team, the team that's on the pitch, you want to build a stadium. Isn't that running to the wrong destination? Do you know what I mean? If you are going to spend all that money, which they will spend their own money as well, on this regeneration project, isn't that thinking too far ahead? Shouldn't we fix the football team and build organically? Build a stadium doesn't necessarily equal success and revenue. Ask Arsenal. Ask Arsenal. Ask them. Ask these teams that how their stadium's going to be. You know what the difference maker. I mean, stay at Old Trafford, man. Rebuild Old Trafford. That's what we should do at the end of the day, in my opinion. Ephraim, Sal, can we get an owner led by the fans to force the hostile takeover? Mate, Man United fans getting together, Man United fans uniting. Goodness me, that would be a turn up for the books. I know what you mean, 50+1 like they do in Germany. I would love that. I would love that. I would love if Manchester United were owned by the fans. And I've always believed that football clubs should be owned by the fans. The majority of the football clubs should be owned by the fans because the fans are the life and blood of the football club at the end of the day. The fans are what is the difference between a football club. They are the football club. Without the fans, there's no Manchester United, guys. There's no Manchester United. We saw just a glimpse during the COVID season what it's like, without fans. We saw that. You know what I mean? And it would be great if Man United fans got together. We've had something similar in the past before the Glazers come in, of course, where we had various people around owning various shares of Manchester United, of course. But the Glazers destroyed that, didn't they? They destroyed that mold. And I would love to get that back. I mean, I've spoken to Tyborg, who's in the stream, absolute legend, of course. He's spoken about the German model, which is the 50+1, which I really admire. I really like, you know what I mean? And the problem is Man United fans are never going to do that. Man United fans are never going to unite. We can't even agree on simple little things, And that's the thing, But we need to. We can. And, Man United make up how many is 1.something billion Man United fans in the world? You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. When you're thinking about how many people in the world, you know what I mean? No, it's ridiculous. Big up, Jengas. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. The Glazers' ownership will go down in history as one of the best business, one of the best businesses ever. They invested almost nothing and will eventually run away with the billions. The problem is United suffered terribly. Yes, Tyborg. The Glazers came in and put a loan on this is simpler. This is a simplified thing coming from me, who doesn't have a business degree, right? Well, I do, but anyway, something similar. So basically, what it is basically what they did. They took out a loan, and they put the loan on the football club. They got a loan to buy the football club, by the way, and they put it on the football club. So all the profits that Man United are making, i.e. tickets, season tickets, merchandise, etc., all those profits that would have went on transfers, infrastructure, and things like that went on their debt, right? So back in 2005, the debt was around 500 million. You know how much the debt is now? 1.1 billion. That is the Glazers for you. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. This is why Man United needed Middle Eastern ownership. Middle Easterns don't believe in debt. And this is what we're done. I don't believe in none of this stuff. They believe in paying things cash, right? And what I would say is this, right? They have not spent any capital on that debt. Nothing. No capital at all. And as soon as they sell the club, perhaps like Tyborg said, these days, today, if this deal was done, it wouldn't be able to be done because it is now illegal what the Glazers did. leverage buyouts, things like that is now illegal in the UK. You can't buy a football club now the way the Glazers have played have played Manchester United. They played Manchester United. They got the loan out, put the loan on the club, went back to America, you know, and let the debt accumulate and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they'll just take out their dividends. Of course, they're going to do that and take out money out of the football club to pay the minimum amount on the loan. And as you know, if you get a credit card, if you keep paying the minimum, the credit card's going to go up. And this is Man United in a nutshell, you know. And it's just such a shame that this has happened to our football club. It's such a shame that these Glazers are coming. The Glazers have not spent in 20 years, have not spent £1 of their own money on Manchester United. Not £1. The only thing we can praise Ineos about is at least they put their money in the club. Now, what the Glazers did and what Ineos did, they came into this football club, right, wanting to buy the football club, I believe. But the Glazers didn't want to sell, so they bought a partial ownership of the football club. And the only way they were going to take the 27% from the Glazers, right, is by regenerating the Carrington, paying for that, putting a billion into the football club, which they did, which is more than the Glazers have ever done. And I applaud Ineos for that. But at the same time, the Glazers and Ineos went to bed with each other. They facilitated each other when we had Qatar there, ready just to completely buy the full football club and pay off the debt, etc. Now, we're penny pinching now. You know, we're the penny pinching FC. Do you know what I mean? Big up RJ, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I think City are going to get caught and punished. I mean, look, City, everything was happening with City with the 115 charges. I don't know. I can't envision anything happening to Man City, my friend. I really can't. I mean, I don't think it makes business sense for them to punish Man City, even though they cheated, you know, allegedly. You know what I mean? I would say. Big up GCTV. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up GCTV. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing blessed, my guy. Hope everything is fine with you. Jengas, without the Rock of Gibraltar affair, we'd have never heard of the Glazers. Absolutely. Now, look, this is where you put the blame on Sir Alex Ferguson, isn't it? An egotistical argument about a horse contributed in the Glazers taking charge of this football club. Of course, the Rock of Gibraltar, namely. And I really, really wish I can turn back time and tell Sir Alex, please, don't do it, mate. Don't do it. The horse. You know, I mean, it was such an egotistical thing to do. And yeah, we have to say that Sir Alex Ferguson, as much as I love the guy, the greatest manager of all time at Man United and in football in general, he got it wrong. And, you know, he's one of the big reasons that the Glazers are at this football club at the moment, you know? Absolutely. Tyborg. And one thing that disappoints me the most is that I know that Alex Ferguson is old now. We can't really put too much on him, but he has never mentioned the Glazers. He's never spoken about Glazers in a negative way. He's always given them compliments, and that upsets me, you know, at the end of the day. As someone experienced in the Bundesliga, I would love it if United could have an ownership similar to the German model. But in my opinion, it's too late for that. For the Premier League, too much is allowed and can't be overturned. There's too much that has happened, absolutely, Tybo, for Man United in particular to be overturned. There's too many billionaire football clubs in the Premier League. There's too many Premier League football clubs now that are richer than ours in regards to their ownership who are willing to spend money. You just need to look at how much money Chelsea have spent. You just need to look at Man City and Arsenal and how they run as football club. Man United, for us to get a 50+1 ownership, it's very, very difficult, guys. It's very difficult for the average billionaire who's got multi-billionaire to buy Manchester United, let alone a fans, you know, consortium getting together and buying the football club. It'd be incredibly difficult, but you never know. Never say never, of course, but I doubt it. Absolutely, Tybo. Big up, Tybo. It's crazy how Pep can get rescued by signings in January. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. Big up, Paul. What's going on? City will get away with the cheating. It's going to be a long no. And this is exactly what I'm saying, Paul. You know, if Manchester City, if these alleged accusations are proven, you know, I would say that there's no point even taking these rules seriously. Rules are not rules if they could be manipulated. And the rules have been manipulated. Man City have manipulated the rules. We have to be honest here, guys. We have to be honest that Manchester City manipulated the rules. They cheated. That's what they did. And they've been brushed under the carpet. I guarantee you, if the boot was on the other foot and it was Manchester United doing this, we would have been deducted points. They probably even would have relegated to League One. You know, that's what they would have done. But for some reason, they don't want to touch Manchester City. They love their Manchester City. They'll never criticize Manchester City, and that money talks. Nobody talks when their palms are getting a grease out. Yeah, nobody talks. No, they don't. Nobody does, at the end of the day. And the problem with Manchester United, there's a lot of individualism going on all around the football club, even on the football pitch. There's individualism going on in the board as well. I honestly think that with the Glazers and Ineos, I don't think they get on quite as well as they used to get on. I actually feel that I have a feeling that there's some sort of conflict. I have a feeling that there's some sort of hostilities going on. I may be wrong, but I just got this feeling that something is going on behind the scenes. That I cannot see how a bunch of billionaires could get on every single day like a house on fire, like it's a Truman Show. Do you know what I mean? I cannot see how they don't have disagreements. I think there is some kind of disagreements going on. Lawrence, I had a feeling today that the Glazers can no longer bank on the European football that made the debt sustainable. Next spring, they might be the last throw of the dice. I cannot understand how for 1 minute, right, that a guys coming from the America can do this. I don't understand how it could be allowed. And I don't understand how they can let these guys do this to this football club. Manchester United is a cultural institution that is an absolute monster, a beast in the UK for the economy, for historically Manchester United. When you talk about England, you mentioned Manchester United. With all the history around England, right? Let's be honest, guys. With all the history around England and the UK, right? If you're speaking about, about the top things in England, you'll say Manchester United is one of them, and that's a fact. You wouldn't say Arsenal, you wouldn't say City, you wouldn't say Chelsea, you wouldn't say Liverpool. You'll say Manchester United, and this is what we're talking about, And I don't think that should have been allowed. I think retrospective action should be taken for the Glazers for what they've done. Something should go on. Something should be blocked because, look, guys, even if someone came along right now and said to the Glazers, right, Glazers, you've had this debt, this debt on Manchester United for now 20 years. It's time you paid off the debt. But we know that's not going to happen, isn't it? We know that business people are okay with debt. Debt makes money at the end of it. That's what it is. They don't care because as long as that debt is being paid off by itself, they don't need to worry. They sit in Florida, whatever they're doing, and they put their feet up, and that's about it. You know what I mean? And when the going gets tough, they're not to be seen. Sal, it amazes me when people say human right, blah, 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 when they do not know nothing. No, look, guys, the human rights old chestnut in regards to the Middle East. Guys, as a guy who's lived in the Middle East now for 3 years, and I knew it before I even moved here, that this is just a stick to beat the Middle East with, where the human rights are this, the human rights are that. Guys, do you know what I mean? Yeah, of course. Yeah, look, I live in England. I worked in England, and there was 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds who couldn't afford their gas bills. So I don't think they need to talk about human rights in England. Definitely not. Okay, so you have to wait 3 months for an appointment in hospital. You know what I mean? Just to get a checkup. So look, they don't know nothing. It's just a hateful thing. Just like that, whether it's the protest in England, whether it's that, this is just boiled down to hatred, manipulation, and lies. That's what it is at the end of the day. And that's what I would say. Everything that you see on the news is not what it seems. No one is advocating for it. No one is not advocating for what happens. But learn the facts. Learn why these things happen. Learn who is doing it, number one. It's not who you think. All right? Because at the end of the day, this is what they did with the World Cup in Qatar. Right? We couldn't even watch the opening ceremony because they're virtual signaling World Cup. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's madness. GC. GC. Big up GC. Ineos have connections in Dubai. They have automatic companies there. I think they're in it. Qatar have connections in England. They own half of Sainsbury's. You know what I mean? Things like that. Russia own loads of properties in England too. There's always billionaires have always got investments in various places in the world. They have, and they've got their pot in it, their hand in every pot. I would love Dubai to invest in Manchester United. It would be Abu Dhabi against Dubai, wouldn't it? Because it'd be Man City with Abu Dhabi, it'd be Dubai with Manchester United, and that would be absolutely incredible if that did happen, guys. I would say that. Jengus, Glazers got to go. They've milked us dry. Ineos have stemmed the bleed, nothing more. They've stemmed them. Absolutely said. They put plasters on an open wound. That's what Ineos have done. They put plasters on an open wound. But my analogy is this, right? Manchester United, right, were in debt, had an opportunity to have a life support machine come in and save them, right? The Glazers were dying out. So what Jim Ratcliffe did, he came into the club, he unplugged the Manchester United life support machine, and he plugged in the Glazers life support machine. He used the Man United one to help the Glazers. That's what he did. So they could not afford any regeneration project. They couldn't afford Carrington. They couldn't afford a rebuild of the squad. They couldn't afford it, and they needed Jim Ratcliffe. And Jim Ratcliffe came in and he stemmed the bleeding somewhat. Yeah, he put a plaster around it, but it's not going to heal. And that's exactly what it is. Exactly, Cengiz. And we need someone to come out here. And as obviously the old saying goes, Ralph Ragnick said, the football club needs open heart surgery. That's what the football club needs. And that's what Ralph Ragnick said. And that's not just to do with the players, by the way. That's to do with the ownership, the stadium, the training facilities back then. Everything about this football club needed open heart surgery. That's what he said. And the Glazers obviously disliked that. They hated that this gentleman came in and said these things about them, and yeah, it is what it is. RJ, it hurts so much looking back to 2014 when Moyes came in and 2013. And it came in and only got two players, City and Javid. I mean, there was lots of rumours about obviously Gareth Bale coming into the football club. A lot of things in hindsight are completely different to what they are. Manchester United made a big mistake in hiring David Moyes. It was the wrong appointment. I like David Moyes. I got nothing against David Moyes. Anyone who came to that football club is going to be an absolute challenge. But what would have minimized the challenge was bringing in someone who had a little bit of experience, i.e. Jose Mourinho, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola. I know that Pep Guardiola had already agreed to go to Bayern Munich at that time. But yeah, look, it was the wrong decision. It was a mistake from Alex Ferguson. It was. He had the choice, didn't he? He had a big choice, and there's no coincidence that he chose David Moyes being Scottish and stuff like that. And it was an absolute failure, and I actually believe that we are still suffering from that time. I do believe that. I still think that. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. RJ, City had such a lovely team in 2014. Yeah, they've had a good team for the last 10 years. I think so to GKJ, but I don't think Ineos are in on it. They wouldn't appoint Neville, etc., as head of stadium thing if it didn't have a relationship with the old players. There we go. Absolutely, GC. Good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Cengiz, Neville complained about human rights, but still took the Qatar money. Mate, the human rights rubbish is just completely flawed. The contradictions that people use in regards to fit a narrative, to fit a hateful narrative that they have, right, when they don't care about humanity at all. Otherwise, they'd be talking about what's going on in the world right now, and they'd be far more balanced in their opinion. They just come across as hateful people and sinister people. And smart people know that everything. They look at everything from every angle, and they call out everything from every angle and say that's wrong, regardless of what side it's on. Hateful people, Tommy Robinson generation out there, they will always, try and slander, them because ultimately they're jealous of the Middle East. The Middle East, they're not the same as them, and they dress differently, and they got different religion and stuff like that. And yeah, that's why they dislike it, and that's why they want to slander it and throw out all those human rights things and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like what's going on now in regards to the UK and stuff, it's just a complete overhaul and complete utter slander on one religion, and that's what it is at the end of the day. And that's what's going on at the moment. And hate in any form, whether that is against anyone of any religion, any caste, any background, is wrong. And I think this is what's going on, and lies are being made up, and culprits are being described as Muslims and then, which is sad, but it is what it is. It's been building up for a very, very long time. You know what I mean? And if people want to have that conversation and want to sit down with that conversation, I'm perfectly happy to do that. But guys, in regards to Manchester United, nobody wants Manchester United to be taken over by a billionaire from the Middle East, because Manchester United are self-sustainable. We make our own money as well. If we cleared that debt that the Glazers have put on the football club, if we cleared that debt, Man United will be unstoppable, guys. They'll be absolutely unstoppable. They're absolutely monsters again. And we were that in the past, you know, at the end of the day. Absolutely. I want to say thank you everyone, guys, who's joined the stream today. I'm going to finish a little bit early today. Sorry about that, guys, but thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you all. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video. I have to go out today, sorry, so I have to finish a little bit earlier, just under 10 minutes earlier, but I will be back tomorrow. I'll make it up to you guys for Breaking Dawn in the morning, Break of Dawning, of course, guys. And I really appreciate everyone on the stream. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you haven't done so already. And also, guys, please don't forget to put your notifications on in case I go live, of course, guys. Very, very important, guys. Guys, keep subscribing, keep pushing Stretford Post. We will continue to grow. We're going to get to the 100,000 mark. Don't worry about that, guys. We're going to get there in the end, guys. Absolutely. I would rather have the Finnish guy than the Saudi guy. Why, Aristasi? What's your reason for that? What's your reason for having the Finnish guy than the Saudi guy? Why? Why? Give me a reason for it. Why? Is he proven at a football team? No. The Saudi guy is proven in sport. Right? He is proven in sport. He has built an empire in Saudi Arabia in regards to sport. All right? All right, Rajesh. So let's leave that. Guys, have a great day. Guys. Yeah, I've heard that as well, Tyborg. I heard that as well. People look at him and think he's wearing a suit. He's talking the big game. He's talking the talk and blah, blah, blah. He's doing all this stuff. You know, people are manipulated easily because, you know, a man in a suit. You know what I mean? He looks big. I mean, whatever tickles your fancy, my friend. Whatever rocks your boat. I don't care if he looks big. You know what I mean? Okay, mate. Never judge a book by its cover. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you. You know what I mean? I will be back tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Take it easy, guys. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. Take it easy. Peace.